Kuwait and Qatar are screwed. Jesus, 8%
And
contraction.
UAE is okay as long as it stays out of the war.
Agree. All of them, they can't afford, and I don't know what they're doing, but whatever they're doing, it's working. They're not being struck much for now. But what I was hoping for during the war, remember when we were talking in as I saw those reports of them having attacked Iran, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And I was like hopeful, but thinking that they would have a policy of neutrality. And it seems they're doing this. Trita's more skeptical. Trita's telling me, Mario, the UAE's been extremely hawkish, and he wouldn't be surprised if they remain hawkish. But for me, it just doesn't make sense for them to be hawkish when there's Iran up north, a country of whatever, 93 million people, whatever it is. It doesn't make sense for any small Gulf country, including Saudi, to be hawkish in this scenario.
Right. No, I agree with you. Iran's, trying to maintain open lines of communication with these countries, but the smaller ones, will be more likely swayed by the United States, for now anyway, until such time as it's seen as, hey, the United States is no longer a reliable partner.
Yeah, I don't know what Kuwait and Bahrain are thinking. I don't know if there's some sort of deal that forces them to allow the US to use their territory, or they're hostage to the US because they can't, there's too many economic links. There's something there for Kuwait and Bahrain to keep allowing their territory to be used for these attacks on Iran, because they're getting pummeled daily. And now Qatar, that's a bizarre one. Qatar is mediating, talks about them unfreezing money for Iran, and they're being pummeled. So I don't know what happened with Qatar. I don't know how the UAE managed to get out of the pummeling they were going through. So I don't know what they did. And for Qatar now to be pummeled. During the war, it was Qatar that was avoiding, and now UAE was getting pummeled.
It was all about Al Udeid, and bringing more air assets in there, potentially some personnel. But, Iran keeps hitting it. At some point, the cost-benefit analysis arrives, and they'll realize U.S. DCM, Deputy Chief of Mission, we got to, pull them out. You can't continue this way.
Yeah. It's bizarre. It's bizarre because during the war, Oman and Qatar avoided most of the attacks, and the UAE was attacked more than all other Gulf countries combined, was attacked more than Israel. Now the UAE is almost not attacked at all. There was, I think, only one day, potentially two, very limited attacks. And Qatar is getting pummeled, especially yesterday.
And because it's limiting U.S. aircraft flying from there and operating from there.
I'm sure that plays a
role. Because I think, again, as I said earlier, those attacks that are down along the southern coast of Iran, those will be carried out most likely by carrier aircraft. I think the damage that's been done in Jordan has limited what the United States can do with aircraft out of there. Not completely, not yet, but the complete denial of service from those airfields, I think, is coming within the next week.
And also an interesting observation today is the land-to-land missiles. We were talking about it yesterday, how there won't be enough capabilities in Kuwait and Bahrain to keep striking Iran. They haven't used any of them today. Today's all been aircraft. And
they're probably all out.
Yeah, potentially. And the last topic, was probably the most interesting, or the second last before we talk a bit about Lebanon. Interesting. Yeah, so this, did I tell you yesterday, I think this yesterday or today, did I tell you that Iran sent a warning to al-Shara, the Syrian president, that if he attacks Hezbollah, they'll bomb them? They'll fire missiles and drones at Syria. Did I tell you that or no?
No, we didn't talk about that, but that sounds about right, and I think that's why al-Shara is going to comply with Iran and not with the United States.
Oh, he'd be stupid. Even without the Iranian warning, he'd be stupid. We talked a lot about this, but he'd be completely stupid to go into a war with Hezbollah. First, he's falling into Israel's trap. He needs to focus on getting Israel out of the southern territory and bringing his country together, not dragging his country into another war. There were protests against him today in a big city, and I think there were some clashes. So he needs to sort his domestic issues, number one. Number two, he doesn't have the military capabilities. Hezbollah would cause a lot of damage and destruction to the Syrian military. And number three, now he's got another reason, and that is the Iranians.
Correct.
So yeah, if he attacks Hezbollah, it means there's a threat to his life. Like Turkey or someone or the US are like, hey, we're gonna kill you if you don't attack Hezbollah. That's the only way I would be able to explain it.
Yeah. I don't think, even though he comes out of a radical Islamic background, I don't think he's going to go suicide on this.
Agree.
I think he prefers getting the haircut, the beard trim, and wearing the Brooks Brothers suit.
Yeah.
Hey, look, check out these threads.
And one last thing before we talk about the developments in Israel, there's one interesting story there. Two interesting stories. Syria has seized the shipment of Iranian weapons that were bound for Hezbollah. What's been found is 100 fiber optic drones. There's images of it. I wish I saved it to send it to Stephanie. Dozens of anti-tank missiles, missile and rocket components, and drone components. Let me see if I can find it. But that was a report that came out today. I'll send it to you now, Stephanie. You can show it to the audience. That's nothing too significant. We've seen that happen before. But that will be Syria's way of giving something to Trump. And there it is. That will be the Syria's way of giving something to Trump without being dragged into a full-blown war, of trying to prevent weapons or weapons going to Hezbollah. Ballistic missiles have just been launched from Iran. So Jordan most likely is being targeted. So the retaliation by Iran has started. So expect, just for the audience, expect Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan to be targeted, potentially Qatar. It depends on how extensive the damage was from the... you can click on the images from the Americas on Iran, but this is the interception there. So while the audience looks at that, so this is an interesting story, Larry. According to Axios, Netanyahu has been trying for more than 2 weeks to secure. There's two stories. That's not the one I expected it to be. So let's talk about this one. You know about this one. You mentioned it. According to Axios, Netanyahu has been trying for more than 2 weeks to secure a White House meeting with Trump, but no appointment has been confirmed. White House officials were surprised to read in Israeli press reports that a meeting was scheduled for Monday. Netanyahu's planned trip to the U.S. for Senator Lindsey Graham's funeral was cancelled after the service was postponed. So it seems that, according to this report by Axios, that Trump is giving Netanyahu the cold shoulder. So either it's true, or even if it's not true, then why would Trump leak this story to Axios? He's trying to send a message that there's a divorce between the two.
Right. Yeah,
it's fun to watch, isn't it?
Well, again, we just had this dust up between the U.S. and Israel over the AC-135s. Now more coming in, but it's going to make Israel more vulnerable.
Yeah.
So not exactly a great play.
Another story about Netanyahu, and this one I want to get your thoughts whether he's... I'll ask you the question at the end of it. This report by The Cradle, which I've had the journalists from The Cradle on the show before, a couple of them. Netanyahu seeks extended security for family in case of election loss. Netanyahu pushed to extend security protection for his wife and sons in order to shield his family in case of, that's Ynet, in case he loses the upcoming elections. Sources told Haaretz, with Netanyahu also requesting that his own security be extended for the rest of his life, per Ynet. Shin Bet chief David Z agreed to Sarah Netanyahu's request for lifelong protection after the agency was pressured into changing its professional opinion, according to Channel 13, which said the agency also recommended extending the son's security by 5 years, regardless of whether the threat level continues to justify it. The extension requires approval from ministerial committee, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we talked about Trump being the target of an Iranian assassination plot. Netanyahu, I'm sure, is higher on the list than Trump.
Yeah, no, I'd say so. But Iran's not going to assassinate Trump.
What about Bibi?
I don't see them going deliberately out of their way to target him either. They're going to content themselves with demilitarizing the U.S. presence in the Persian Gulf and in Israel. If the United States retreats to Israel to try to continue launching these operations, I think we're going to continue to see this pattern over the next week, at least. But we saw today that the stock market sort of had a big drop because of the concern about the oil price of oil going up. It was let's see here.
I've got it. Brent,
Dow-
WTI is 81. Oh, the
Yeah, Dow went down 406 points. NASDAQ 361, and S&P went down about 1%, 76.
Holy shit! As well, Brent crude and WTI have spiked. I know you don't like looking at the paper price anymore, but the WTI is up from 77. Sorry, Brent is up from 77 5 days ago to $88 a barrel. Is that right? Yeah, it is. Holy shit! And WTI is up to 81. 5 days ago was what? It was 72. Oh my god, man!
Yeah, so that's what's going to drive that. That's what's going to cause Trump to back off.
You don't think the Iranians, though, might target Netanyahu in, let's say, 5 years' time? Because Netanyahu's talking about security past if he loses the election.
Yeah, he'll be dead in 5 years. He's got prostate cancer.
I haven't looked into this. Hasn't it been removed or cured or treated?
It's been treated, I'm sure. But prostate cancer in men his age usually doesn't turn out too well.
Mm.
You know, his age, my age.
Mm. And the last quick story here, a bit of a lighthearted but sick story, both at the same time. The Israeli government has taken initial leg steps to facilitate a controversial proposal put forward by Ben Gvir. You can't believe this. Which I need to fucking look this up. This is so hard to believe. Which seeks to deploy crocodiles around detention facilities holding Palestinian prisoners. Okay. According to reports from Israel's Channel 7, the move is intended to establish the necessary framework for implementing the plan, which authorities argue is a security measure designed to reinforce perimeter defense and deter potential escape attempts. There is no way this is true. I'm just reading it as is. I'm going to check now. There's no fucking way Ben Gvir is looking at putting crocodiles around a prison with Palestinian prisoners.
Where are they going to get the crocodiles? So they can go to Egypt? Hey, Egypt, give us some crocodiles. No, if I know the Zionists, those crocodiles won't last long. They'll wind up as a pair of boots or a belt.
Yes, it's true. Come on, fuck off. Israeli National Security Ben Gvir proposed a high-security prison for Palestinian prisoners surrounded by crocodiles, dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, inspired by a U.S. facility.
But how can it be called alligator if it's crocodiles? Okay, crocodile Alcatraz. Come on, good God.
Is there a prison in the U.S. that has crocodiles around it? No.
They had the facility that was put into the Everglades for holding detainees was in the Everglades. The Everglades is full of alligators and anacondas and all sorts of critters that can eat you.
There's sirens in Saudi and Jordan. Explosions heard over Al-Kharj region, central Saudi. Likely interceptions. Did they just fucking attack Saudi? Brother, this is the Israeli police touring crocodile farm seeking to implement Ben Gvir's push for alligator Alcatraz. There's no way. Scroll down. Click on that tweet by Yossi Eli. Click on that tweet. Click on it if you can. I don't know if it allows you with the screen share. There's no way this is true. That is fucking crazy.
That looks
They're
more
touring
like
and getting crocodiles, man.
That looks like Florida, not Israel.
I don't know where that is, but oh my God, man.
That looks like Florida, not Israel. I have been to Israel. I don't recall seeing Israel with that kind of green, lush surroundings.
That's insane. Oh my God. Yeah, so there's reports of explosions in Saudi. I would guess if Saudi was targeted, because it could have been missiles heading towards Oman, intercepted by Saudi. But why would Oman be struck? So that wouldn't make sense. Let me see if it's...
Could be Israel trying to false flag.
Could be as well. Or could be the Iranians sending a warning as well, because Saudis...
but there's no evidence yet. Maybe there is. We just haven't seen it. Of Saudis allowing their airfields to be used.
And the sirens were in Al-Kharj, home to Prince Al Sultan Air Base. So maybe that was used, as you said. So it could be just a warning. Because that's far away from Jordan. It's not. It's all the way east, so it wouldn't be intercepting missiles. Breaking sirens at Yanbu, the largest oil pipeline in Saudi. Okay, this is significant.
Yeah,
the Yanbu pipeline.
If the Houthis are going after Yanbu, but again, you got to question who's firing. If it's not the Houthis, if you're the Israelis saying, hey, if we can make it look like it's the Houthis, and then we get the Pakistanis fighting Iran, that's going to take the pressure off the U.S.
Yeah, they put out a report. If you receive warning messages from the National Early Warning Platform for Emergencies, and they give the steps, so they're sending warnings, and there's warnings at Yanbu where the oil pipeline is. If that's true, that's freaking huge. Like every day is escalating. We just said at the beginning of this, we're talking about, hey, the infrastructure in Iran was struck. What will Iran do? They'll respond in kind. This is Yanbu all the way south. This is the alternative, the east-west pipeline that Saudi uses to avoid the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranians have struck vessels at Fujairah 2-3 days ago, and Fujairah was reportedly closed for temporarily as a precaution, and now Yanbu could be being targeted, whether there's impact or not. If there's no impact or there's a limited attack, it's a warning shot. If there's impact, I don't think Yanbu was attacked at all throughout the entire war.
Correct.
I really don't.
They left it alone. Yeah, you're right.
I'm just confirming now. I can't believe this is freaking happening, man.
Keep believing it's going to keep happening for another week and a half at least.
Yeah, well, this is it. So there were in early 2026, March, April, there were drone strikes causing limited damage and brief disruptions in Yanbu in the midst of the war. But no, I don't think there was any missiles attack on it. It was drone. But yeah, this is it. This is happening as we speak. So we'll see. I'll go live again if there is impact or it escalates or the attacks continue. But it's every day we speak, it's getting worse, Larry. Hopefully that it's
gonna
short-term escalation.
Gonna get worse before it gets better, my friend.
It's better. Exactly. Always a pleasure. Thank you for your time on a weekend or on a Friday night.
Yeah, Friday. Weekend's coming.
Well, that's not a good news. In this war, that's not good news.
I think I'll probably see you tomorrow.
I'm sure we will. Thank you, Larry.
Hey, and I wore my Bali, again, another Bali shirt.
Oh, I love Bali.
Yeah. They got.
What are you wearing tomorrow?
I'm going to go back to Tommy Bahama tomorrow.
Okay. All right. I'll look forward to it. Thank you, Larry.
All right, my friend. Bye-bye.
See you, man. Bye-bye. All right, guys. That will be it for today. I'll be going live again if we see these strikes by the Iranians on the Gulf escalate, if we see impact at Yanbu. I don't know if missiles were fired. Were missiles or drones? I'm asking my team. Fired at Yanbu in the war. Because I think it was drones. I'm just going to confirm now. So they're replying. Yeah, they fired missiles and drones, but it was a limited attack. And now we have it again. So this continues to escalate and crossing red line after red line. And the crazy thing is that no one is really talking about it. The press is barely talking about it. And that's what really concerns me. That's what I've been saying all day, is the complacency with the escalations. In the midst of the war, every time there's an escalation, everyone freaks out. The media it's on the headlines, on the front pages of all the media. Now people have moved on. Now it's about the World Cup or Trump's address to the nation, about China, or whatever news story comes out tomorrow. So, all right, guys, I'll be live again if this escalates. If you don't see me live, means things have calmed down. If you see me live, means things are getting worse, and I'll be back to cover it. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow for an incredible lineup as always. Thank you, everyone.